Is the Elementalist underrated? Or is it just straight out garbage? Hmm, let's find out. What up guys, it's your boy Snow and we are back again for another World Zero video, and today we are going to talk about the Mage DPS class in World Zero, the Elementalist. But before we get started, make sure that you've already frozen that thumbs up button. That really helps the channel a lot. And of course, we're about to hit 70k subs, man! 70k subs, so close. So hit that subscribe button and your bell button right now. Not later, but now. Otherwise, you know what? Just do it if you wanted to. Anyway, just a disclaimer, guys. Before we get to the good and bad side of this class, let me just remind you that we are talking about a Tier 1 class here. Alright, only a Tier 1 class, which we are going to compare with other Tier 2 classes, and of course, also the Demon, which is a special class, so just remember that fact before calling this class a trash, alright? We are forced to do this, guys, because, well, this class is the only full DPS version of the mages. Anyway, let's now start off with the good things, and of course, the first on our list would be, obviously, its range. I mean, it's a mage. Of course, you got some range which would allow you to remain untouched while slowly poking your enemy's HP. This class is also good for those beginner players who are still not used to the controls, or for those who just don't want to click a lot of keys in general. Using this advantage as a mage would make everything easier for the player to stay safe while helping the team to do damage. Though that damage will most likely only come from your basic attack and your letter R skill or your fireball skill, because the other two skills that you have do not really have the same range as your fireball attack. Next on our list would be its debuffs. All of the skills of the Elementalist gives a certain debuff except for his letter F skill, which is the lightning attack. Your letter R skill or your fireball attack gives 100% chance of burn damage over time. Your letter E skill or the ice attack gives 100% frost chance, which slows down the enemy, and your ultimate attack gives both burn and frost debuff. I am not sure if the lightning attack of the letter F skill does something special, but yeah, those skills gives justice on the class name, which is Elementalist. This might disappoint some, but basically there are only two good things that I can find for this class. Let's now go to its bad side. Before we mention our first disadvantage, just a quick trivia, guys. Do you know, or would you be surprised if I will say that Elementalist was actually the most OP class on the early days of World Zero? It was so good that the developers nerfed it so hard just to balance things out, and ironically, those things leads us to these issues right now that we are going to mention for our disadvantage list. Anyway, first on our list would be the skill animation over damage ratio. Elementalist basic attack and skill animation makes the damage of this class so underwhelming. Yes, you have the range for your basic attack, but it does also have a controlled phasing for the attack, and it also have a travel time. As you guys can see in this clip, it takes time for the icicle basic attack to hit and reach the enemy. Well, of course, that depends on your distance between your enemy, and also, it does have a bit of an animation before the ice would form in the air and start flying. These delays make your damage lower than it seems, because if you would just spam and let the enemy get close to you, then you might as well just use dual wielder or berserker, because they would have done the job better. Next one would be the bad skill design. I do not really have any problems about the letter R skill or the fireball attack of this class, but the letter E skill and also the letter F skill were just really badly designed. Your letter E skill, which can deal slow effect to your enemies, is good and all, but its area of effect and range is just way too small and short in my opinion. With the skill animation, enemies moving speed, and your distance from your enemy, all these factors makes this skill complicated sometimes to use unless you are willing to sustain some damage. For the letter F skill, Man, this is more trash than letter E skill because listen up guys. First, the area of effect sucks. Second, it only stays in one place. Third, it's not a burst damage. And fourth, it does have a short range for being a mage skill. I think this skill would be a lot better if it would work like the letter F skill, you know, the life drain attack of the demon class, which sticks to its target to fully deal its whole damage to the enemy. But for now, it's really a trash skill, and as you guys can see in the clip, you really need to time it perfectly all the time to not waste your damage for faster mobs, let alone if you will not experience some lags or delays. Now the question is it good to be Elementalist even on endgame? In my opinion, if you still do not have a demon class, then yes, it might suit some players' playstyle, but take note of this guys. If you are letting your enemies to get close to you and you are not using your range at all, then you better off just use dual wielder or berserker. And I'm sure that you guys would also realize why. I'm not going to say anything about its damage simply because it is only a tier 1 class as I've mentioned earlier, but nonetheless, this class is actually a pretty decent backseat DPS, but definitely not worth grinding for because other classes can do more, especially in a team fight scenario. Just a bit of a tip guys, if you want to always utilize your range, I mean, you're a mage, you must always do this. You can use this combo of attacks to avoid being touched by your enemies. First, use your basic attack to aggro the enemy. Use the basic attack until your enemy is close enough for your letter E skill to hit them. Letter E skill would slow your enemy down, and while slowed down, pop your letter F skill. I suggest using the letter R skill or the fireball attack separately because it is your only fast burst damage, so using it on right situation like if there are tons of enemies clumping together in front of you or if you are fighting a tanky mob would be really a wiser decision. Anyway, again guys, these are all based on my own perspective for the class itself and also from my experience playing it, so if you think that you are still enjoying or you are really enjoying playing this class, then just go for it. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you are not AFK on team runs like the tower grind, then you're still helping out the team regardless. If you want me to make more class analysis on World Zero, just drop your request down in the comment section below, and for those who got this class as their favorite, share your experience as well and probably give some tips to those beginner for this class. And as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Stay cold. Peace out.